Hello everyone and welcome back to K's Models. My name is Greg and today we are going to be taking a look at a brand new product from Third Rail, their SD40-2 locomotives. So in this video I'm going to be going over a little bit about prototype history, my thoughts on the models, and then we'll be giving them a run around the layout. So stick around. So to start off this video, let's go over a little bit of background history on the SD40-2. So the SD40-2 is a diesel locomotive built by EMD from the years of 1972 to 1989 and was one of the most popular, if not the most popular, diesel electric engine ever produced, with 3,982 built. These engines would see extensive usage across the country and internationally, where they became incredibly popular for their reliability and their versatility in various different roles. A lot of them are still in service today amongst even the largest railroads, some having undergone extensive rebuilds, such as for example, the CSX SD40-3 program, the NS Admiral Cab rebuilds, and other various modifications. In front of us is our two Conrail versions and one NS version. Conrail would receive 167 SD40-2s, and these would serve very long lives, see a couple different paint scheme variations, some updates, and a lot of them are still seen running today. On Conrail's order, they equipped them with Flexicoil trucks, which made them a bit different from the rest of the orders. The Norfork Southern engine on the end is a former Norfolk and Western engine. Norfolk and Western had theirs delivered with high short hoods for the first order, while the later orders, which consisted of roughly 155-ish engines, had short hoods like the Conrail ones. However, the early N&W ones were notable in that they were set up to run long hood forward, so that's why I have it on the layout in that form. That is technically forward for that engine. Norfolk Southern would eventually be formed by the merger of the N&W and the Southern, and these engines would go into the ownership of Norfolk Southern. 1627 went on for a while, staying in its as-built configuration with its original number, with the high short hood and setup for long hood forward operation for quite some time, and still has this setup to this day, although it is currently stored and will probably either be retired or turned into a Admiral Cab -3. The two schemes that the Conrail engines are wearing represent two different eras of the Conrail SD40-2s. The one on the middle track that just says Conrail, that's how they look as delivered. Whereas on the left is the Conrail quality scheme that they gained later on, as well as the addition of ditch lights. Alright, now let's get a little bit into the models. So, if you've been following the development of these engines, you know that it's been quite a while since these were first announced. I think it was close to something like 6 years. So I really found it quite incredible that these went into production at all. I thought that these would have stalled out or people would have gone to the Lionel SD40-2, although if you've seen my thoughts on how those things turned out, I'm not surprised that these eventually did keep enough reservations to come out. But I'm glad that they were able to go to production, because I've never really been happy with any of the other SD40-2s available on the market. I find it kind of interesting that for what is the most popular engine of all time, you know, everybody loves this thing. You would think at least one manufacturer would come out with one that at least looks halfway decent. I mean, the Lionel one's got the trucks in the wrong place, I never could get mine to run right. The MTH one is okay, but it lacks a lot of key details. The pilots on them did not look good, and they never offered a two-rail version. And I usually get, when it comes to MTH, I usually get the two-rail version and then put the three-rail wheels on them. I thought that was a great feature, but they never offered a two-rail version of the SD40-2. With this out, I finally have something that to represent an engine that engines that would go by my area, you know, almost all the time. These still work the local CSX freight train that services some industries near me. It's always an SD40-2, sometimes even a former Conrail one. and we have pictures of Conrail SD40-2s and NS SD40-2s working together on this line during the Conrail era on coal trains and other various trains. So despite the long wait that it took for these engines to come out, I'm still really happy that they are here, and hopefully the second run doesn't take as long, because I'd like to see some more road names. Susquehanna, please. Now, as for features that these are equipped with, these are internally pretty much the same as every other third rail locomotive. Three-rail locomotive. You have LED lighting all throughout, independent suspension on all the wheels and axles, ball bearing, driveline, as well as that what they call the quiet drive, which is there's a single motor right around the fuel tank that lays flat in the engine, and then a belt drive goes down into the fuel tank, and then that goes out to the trucks via some drive shafts. Electronics wise, they have ERR, Rail Sounds 5, and a Cruise Commander inside. Details wise, they got pretty much everything that we wanted for road name, and in the cases here, road number specific detailing. You'll notice that there are quite a few key differences between the Conrail and NS engines, and even between the two Conrail engines, besides just the lettering. The later Conrail Quality one on the left has the addition of lit ditch lights, as well as different paint on the handrails, different font and colorway on the number boards, and is generally a pretty different engine. The NS1 is a completely different engine, with the setup for long hood forward operation. It's got a different horn on the cab, as well as the high short hood, the all-weather cab windows on the sides, and that nose-mounted bell on the high hood. Now, there is one small issue that I have with the Conrail ones, and that is Conrail operating procedure and the way that they set up class lights and stuff on their engines. They didn't really do class lights. They only did red marker lights, and the marker light lenses themselves were painted red, not just the bulb inside. But on the models, they left them white, like the same as the rest of them. Now, for every other road name, I'm pretty sure this is fine. It's only Conrail that should just have red. This isn't too hard of a fix. Really, you could just put some Tamaya, however you pronounce it, transparent red. I did the same thing on the Golden Gate Depot Olympian Hiawatha set, because that also had just a white LED on the back. As for any other details, everything is pretty much there. I wish there was a little bit more detail on the pilots. I know the two-rail versions of these did get a full set of MU hoses, air hoses, stuff like that, but that was because those had factory scale couplers, so they didn't have to worry about the lobster claw swinging back and forth and breaking them off. So I really wish that what they did was include them in the bag like how they do for the E and F units. Even the Jeep 9s, I think, had them. And then just if you ran scale couplers, you could put them on, since these had the same scale coupler plate setup as the Jeep 7s and 9s. Also, something interesting, this isn't a problem, but I just found this interesting. On these models, if you put the scale couplers on, you do have to use a upper shelf coupler. The box itself is just mounted just a bit too low, but it is pretty much at the perfect height for an upper shelf coupler. So I'm sure they designed it to be that way. I just found that a little bit interesting. Another detail about these that I like is that they got the correct trucks on the Conrail ones. As I mentioned before, Conrail equipped their SD40-2s with Flexicoil trucks, and this was modeled on the engines. If you look at the NS1, it has the regular EMD trucks, as opposed to the Conrail ones, which look much different. Alright, so I guess that about wraps it up for everything I have to say about these models. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I'm really happy to finally have an SD40-2 that I am content with, and I've had no problems running these. I've probably put a good couple hours of runtime on them since I've got them to when I'm filming this, and it's been nothing but great. So from me, I'm really happy with these. The only few minor detail gripes that I have, I can easily fix with just some just some air hose details and a little bit of red paint. So I'd say, without further ado, let's get into running these. so that about wraps it up for this review of the third rail SD40-2s. Overall, I'm very happy with these models, and hopefully we'll be able to see more releases from them in the future and other road names. So, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see more videos from me in the future. I've got a couple more reviews and projects in the pipeline to hopefully have out over the coming months. So, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.